Good evening, and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this evening. How are we all doing tonight? It is Tuesday evening, and it's that part of the week where we're kind of waiting on something happening at Celtic, but there's just nothing much happening. Jim Lister has said, though, in the comments. Baz was just watching an old Judas YouTube video, and 15 minutes into it pops up Brian Wilson. Didn't know he used to be an MP. Of course he was an MP. He was a Labour MP. Didn't you know that? Yeah, he was a Labour MP. Absolute. Anyway, still can't believe Judas went to the Rangers at the time after all this time. Yeah, Brian Wilson was a Labour MP. He's way anti independence and everything. Oh, I was in a pre-independence debate in Dunfermline. And there was a debate with Brian Wilson and that nut job that wears the daft hat that I refuse to name. But anyway, yeah, and they were. But he goes for free Palestine and everything. He proclaims that he's against this and he's against that, and he backs Palestine, but he doesn't. He backs an independent Irish state. Wears his funny hat, but he doesn't want a free Scotland. And him and Brian Wilson were chairing an event in Dunfermline, at the theatre in Dunfermline, and they were they were very and that was the evening that I pulled them up about everything that was going wrong at Celtic at the time, Jim. Long time ago now, but you can see him sitting straighter this evening. It's always good. Anyway, let's get into the Celtic news. There's a poll question going on, and I have to put the poll question into context. First of all, the poll question is: who do you respect the views on Celtic FC more, Scott Brown or Cy Ferry? Now, before I go into the reasons why, because you've always got to have an alternating view. You can't just have a biased view. I've got to give you the background on both players, if you like. So just wait 2 seconds because I need to get. I was trying to get Caspar. Oh, let me just see this first of all, because I want to get an equal comparison. So, Cy Ferry, first of all, his playing career, his top valuation, Cy Ferry, his top valuation was 175 grand. Dundee. Celtic sold him for 70. His market value at Celtic was 50. It was the same amount of money that we bought a fantastic winger for at Celtic. Put it that way. And a winger that cost Celtic £50,000 and went on to have a fantastic career. But Cy Ferry doesn't have that great a career at Celtic, does he? Did he? Trying to find, waiting on the stats coming up. He came through the Celtic system in 2003, through the youth system at Celtic, through the under-17s, from the under-17s to the under-20s, from the under-20s into the Celtic first team around about 2006. He was then loaned out to Swindon in 2009, and ultimately he was sold for €75,000, 50 grand. Boom! Sold to the highest bidder. Swindon Town. He then went on in his career from Swindon Town to Portsmouth for 175 grand. From Portsmouth, he then went to Dundee Football Club. He was then without a club in 2015. No club. Nobody wants you, mate. Nobody wants you. And then Cy Ferry found himself up in Peterhead. And then from Peterhead, he went to Broomhill, and then Broomhill, he retired. So that's the first one. That's Cy Ferry, who has a lot to say when it comes to Celtic. Holding midfield player, defensive midfield. right midfield, plays in a similar part of the field as what Scott Brown did. Now, Scott Brown's career at Celtic, 10 SPFL trophies, 6 Scottish Cups, and 7 League Cup winners' medals. Fucking going off each shoulder like that. He's like a fucking commandant or whatever it is when it comes to football medals. Born in Dunfermline, both from the east side of Scotland. Scott Brown, a little bit older than I think. Yes, he's 2 years older. 2 years older than Cy Ferry. But and then when you look at the positions, yeah, the two of them play in the exact same positions. Yep. Defensive midfield, central midfield, right midfield, Scott Brown. Exact same positions. Scott Brown's highest value was when he came to Celtic, when Celtic bought him for around about £6 million from Hibernian. His valuation did end up going just down, 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 and down. And but he had a fantastic career. When you look at Scott's clubs, not so much a journeyman. He came through the system at Hibs, broke into the Hibs first team, and then went from Hibernian to Celtic. Left Celtic to go and help out his mate, Stephen Glass, up in Aberdeen. Scott Brown said that's the only reason I went to Aberdeen, because Glass was up there. He was a good mate. Thought I'd go and help him out. Don't know, my time was up at Celtic. Got a year left in me. And then he retired from football. Completely focused on his job. Cy Ferry has come out and said that there's a certain Celtic player, his time is done. His time is done, his time is up, and he's been slating the Celtic captain. He's been slating Callum McGregor. And it's interesting that someone like Cy, now I know that he's got his Open Goal podcast, and he's done fantastically well at that. You know, he's an ex-player that's got all the contacts, he can get everyone in. You know, he's not having to pay them big cash. It's all favour stuff. You know, he's not having to pay them money to come and be on their podcasts like other podcasters would have to do. And it's an old mates club type thing. Don't begrudge him that at all. But when it comes to slating Celtic players, current Celtic players, and saying that they're no good, when you look at the career that they had at Celtic, Callum McGregor has had a way better career than Cy Ferry, but Cy Ferry said that Callum McGregor should be dropped and he's no longer any good. Scott Brown has fired back. I'd love to see. Has there ever been an interview with Brownie and Ferry? I don't think that Brownie would go on. Do you think that Brownie would go on Ferry's podcast? Anyway, Scott Brown's not having none of it. He's saying that Cy Ferry's talking pish. And that would be exactly the way that Scott Brown would say it. Wee man, you're talking pish. It's probably the exact words that Scott Brown would say. He would just, wee man, you're talking pish. And he's right for it. But anyway, he says that Callum McGregor is not past it. He says, look, he got the armband skipper when Ange Postecoglou came in. He is the heartbeat of the team. He is the captain and he's the man to take Celtic forward between now and the end of the season. Even though Cy Ferry says, nope, Celtic need to drop Callum McGregor if they want to do anything between now and the end of the season. Oof. And bring in who exactly? Jesus. Talking about the wee Hun Halliday says Ferry was talking shite. Even. Jesus. Slaney is funny, but that is. But anyway, Cy Ferry couldn't clean McGregor's boots. No. And back in the day, Cy Ferry was one of the wee knob-ends that cleaned boots. That was it. That was the highlight of his career. Do you know, that is the highlight of Ferry's career. I got to polish the boots of players that I had no... Like, I don't like calling out other folk, but when you come out and you blatantly come out and say that the Celtic captain should be nowhere near the team between now and the end of the season, he's done. And then you've got the current... Well, the current ex-Celtic captain and Scott Brown, who's achieved way more than Ferry. You know, and it's a case of who. It's all great having hundreds of thousands of subscribers and all the rest of it. And yes, a lot of it's done for clickbait and it's gaslighting and whatever on social media, and it's all about getting clicks so he can pay the rent and advertise his events and all the rest of it. But come on, mate, really thinking that Callum McGregor's done this season and that Callum McGregor's not the man to lead us to the end of the season? Even a die-hard Celtic fan would tell you that if you take Callum McGregor out between now and the end of the season, Celtic would be shite in midfield. They would be shite in midfield. It's been proven over the past. It's the fact that it's been proven time and time again. Celtic fans have said, "Drop McGregor, drop McGregor. He's pish, he's pish, he's pish." He gets a wee injury. He's out for 2 or 3 weeks. The midfield's even worse than what it is now. And then you get Celtic fans going, "Okay, we miss McGregor." There is nobody in the Celtic midfield that is anywhere near Scott Brown type player. Callum McGregor's not even near it. Nowhere near it. But he's a leader. And you need your leader between now and the end of the season. And for that, I mean, I would, as much as I think that Callum's coming towards the end of his career, I would address that fact. And I admit that fact that yes, Callum's coming to the end of his career. He would admit that. But he would also admit, and he would also make sure that these players know what it means to fight till the end of the season. And I think if you were to take that away from Celtic, as Cy Ferry suggests that Celtic do, honestly, I think it would be absolute bonkers. But anyway, Cy Ferry's won because he's got us all talking about him, and that's all that he wants to do. It's all just getting him spoken about, and fair play. That's it. Hats off to Cy Ferry. Anyway, moving on from Cy Ferry and Scott Brown, because Cy, don't want to tell you, mate, mad wee Dundorian, nobody likes Dundee anyway. The only thing good about Dundee, and in fact, what side of the city is he really from, Dundee? If he's no for Lochee, come on, Ferry, come on, tell us what side of the city you fae. If you're no for Lochee, you're talking shite, mate. Anyway, do you respect Scott Brown? Who do you respect the views on Celtic FC more? Scott Brown or Cy Ferry? The votes are sitting at 95% Scott Brown. 5% are saying Cy Ferry. You'd be better with fucking Scott Berry. Anyway, we digress. Anyway, we move on. There was a couple of super chats come in. Let's grab them first. Wee Mitch, thank you for that. Wee Mitch, evening Baz in the One Celtic Fans View community. Hail everyone, and anyone come in from Danny Cassie as well. I'm just thinking. Fans think that have never had a place in the game. Absolutely. Fans think that never had a place in the game. Stopped watching Open Goal when I found out Lawwell's son runs it. I was. Do you know what? I was wondering how long it would take for all that to come out. Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad someone else said that and not me. Because if I come out with it, it would be like, yeah, you fucking hate Lawwell anyway. You hate the Lawwells. But anyway, yeah. Glad someone else said that. Thank you, mate. Anyway, right, we move on. Too much nonsense. Cy's early career at Celtic. Why didn't Cy make it at Celtic? Exactly. I mean, he had the opportunity. He was shite as a player, let's face it. He's a young player that had all the talent. He's another player, just like many modern players that have had talent as a youth player. He was the modern day Dumbbelly. Let's face it. And Cy Ferry was never worth more than 175 grand in his career. Come on, Cy. Slating players and thinking you're the big tactician. You were absolute shite as a manager as well, mate. At least I know my worth. I know that I'm just a YouTuber. So no, I'm not even Celtic media level. I'm just a YouTuber. I'm away down here. There's Celtic media and then there's me down here. I know my level and I respect my level. But everyone's got their own level and everyone should appreciate the level that they're at, mate. So stop talking shite and pretending that you were some fucking messiah. Anyway, Celtic, the Scott McKenna speculation isn't going away. Seemingly, Celtic sent over a couple of scouts. Now, if Celtic are sending over scouts to look at McKenna at 29-year-old, and they're talking about 10 million. I mean, Celtic will be ruined the day that they allowed them to get away from their. I mean, he left Aberdeen to go to Nottingham Forest for 3 million. Who on earth at Celt? There is no. I cannot see that this deal happening because he was sold to Nottingham Forest for 3 million. Celtic could not get a deal done for 3 million back then. It was potentially rising to 6 million. He then ran out of his career at Nottingham Forest. They went away to Spain, got relegated in Spain, and then went away to Croatia. There is absolutely no chance in the world are Celtic spending 10 million on Scott McKenna. Dundee make good cake. I pressed Ferry by accident. You'd be better off with Brian Ferry. Yeah, you would. KT would be a good call, but for me, Arnie, it is. They talk 100 mile an hour and it's a load of personal patter. I was getting dizzy. Yeah, this is very true. I must be the 5% for Psy. It's down to 4%. It is down to 4%. There's not a lot of views coming in tonight. It's a quiet night, as is. It's always the same. Celtic are shite. Third in the league. Nobody's wanting to watch Celtic stuff at this time of night. Not really. They're watching other channels. Just not watching this one. Who cares? Doesn't matter. It's not about views. It's about the numbers that hang about, and the numbers are doing well. I'm sorry, Baz, but Celtic are trying to sign players just now. Then it's either Clark or Maloney that's getting the job. Full-time manager's post. The biggest insult ever. Simon who? It's all about opinions. Baz Ferry is a rocket. He wasn't a great player, but he's allowed his opinion, just like me and you. Yeah, it is all about opinions, mate. And I just think it's funny. Some YouTubers are worth 3.5 million. Cy Ferry's not worth 3.5 million. Not a chance. Some YouTubers are worth 5 million and more. Looking down at Manchester. Anyway, I don't fancy Scott McKenna. I'm sure I play the FM, play him up front. Jeez, I don't mind Scott McKenna, but not for 10 million. No chance. Milky Moo, Pope Leo's kicking Trumpskin's backside all over the internet. Oh, thank goodness I stay off the internet most of my days. Celtic must find Callum McKenna. There's a sensible conversation, and it is. I think that's where the conversation was leading to, because Celtic need to find Callum McGregor's heir to the throne. Over the last 2 seasons, it's become more obvious that at 32, he's getting closer to slowing down. A bit like what Scott Brown was doing at that age, you know, a bit like Neil Lennon at that age. But unlike those times, we don't have a natural heir to the throne, like you say, mate. You know, you always knew that Callum McGregor would more than likely be the next Celtic captain after Scott Brown, for all the reasons that he is captain. When you look at the likes, there's no standout player at Celtic right now that I would say, yeah, that's your next Celtic captain. Even I mean, there was talk earlier on in this season of Alistair Johnston maybe becoming the next Celtic captain. But is Alistair Johnston, I mean, I know that Alistair Johnston was quizzed on that matter, and Alistair Johnston said, look, I'd love to be at Celtic for the end of my career. But if Alistair Johnston heads off to the World Cup and he does okay at the World Cup, like he did the last time for Canada, and Celtic get an offer for Alistair Johnston, it would be interesting to see if Alistair Johnston would go, do you know what, I want to move. Or if Alistair Johnston would go, no, I'm happy at Celtic, but would you give me a pay increase? It's an interesting one. But even Alistair Johnston as captain, I don't really see him dominating games, and it's a weird one because we've had a midfield captain now at Celtic for so long. I think the last player that was not a, a midfield player captain would have been Tom Boyd and then Jackie McNamara. I think that was the last two that weren't, and that's going back a long time. So and even before them, before Tom Boyd, it was midfielders that were captain. You had Paul McStay. Before that, you then go back to a defender and Roy Aitken as captain. So it does make you wonder who at the club has been there long enough that gets Celtic inside out, that knows what it really means to be Celtic captain. And there's no standout player right now. Tell me in the comments, let's jump forward in the comments. Tell me in the comments who you think will be the next Celtic captain. A lot of people going for Tierney all day. Jim Lister says he was watching Come On the Hoops. Keith's a cracking one. Keith asked me months and months and months ago to go onto his channel, and I've never had the time. And the times that we've done it, we kept on missing out each other. But yeah, I'd still like to do something with Keith if you are watching. I'll need to message him. Basil's watching Come On the Hoops, Keith's channel, and he was showing what the players are earning on a weekly basis. Astonished what some of the players are paid considering the performances. Celtic are looking at a Cologne centre back. I wonder if they will spend proper money to rebuild. I think they were, but you've got to ask, where's this money coming from? We looked at the financials this morning, kind of, and then we looked at the share price and stuff. And you've got to say, Celtic are going to have to sell some players to fund this summer going forward. Anyway, let's get into who you think may be captain. And I suppose there is the one obvious choice. Came through the ranks at Celtic, went away for 25 million, went to Arsenal, didn't have the best of times, played in a bigger league, came back. But is Kieran Tierney really captain material? That's the big question. Let's talk about it in the comments. Milky Moo starts off and he says it's Tierney all day. I'd like to see McGinn at Celtic. McGinn's not coming to Celtic. When the Motherwell manager beats Hearts and Sevco, we want him again. I think the deal's done with Newcastle and Alistair Johnston already. It's got to be Tierney. We'll see how quick it's announced. Talking about manager, we should go and sign Taylor back. Play him in the middle. He's been our biggest loss all season. Paddy Kenny scores for Bolton again. KT has to be our captain over Scales. I really don't understand how Scales has got it. He's absolutely no leadership skills at all. I think it's all to do with the fact that Scales has been there currently the longest. Don't know about it. Daft question, who's the vice captain? It is Cameron Carter-Vickers is the official. Cameron Carter-Vickers is the official vice captain for Celtic this season, and he's been out injured most of the season. It was then passed on to Alistair Johnston, and Alistair Johnston got injured. Who is it now? I think it's Scalesy. It's almost a case of last man standing, is it? I think that's why Scales has had the armband once, because it is Scales. How can the players justify playing like that and picking up monthly wages? It's modern football. Engels' position would be good enough for captain. Engels will be away in the summer. McManus was captain. Another defender, wasn't he? That's another defender. Sorry, I forgot about McManus. He was after. I was very brief captain though, wasn't he? He wasn't captain for long, McManus. Was that a season that McManus was captain? I'm not too sure. We should never let Kenny go, it says Chilpel. Tierney, Alistair Johnson. How's Taylor getting on in Greece anyway? His missus homesick, could return. No chance. It's got to be Kieran Tierney. Scales next captain. Interesting. I remember Ferry Kieran, but I don't remember anything about him playing. Um, I don't really remember Cy Ferry as a young kid at Celtic, I'll be honest. Don't know, my mate, one of my best mates remembers him at Celtic, but I don't really. Back then, the younger players weren't really a big influence. They weren't real breaking through into the team. Motherwell manager and Bruni's assistant. Kieran could have been Bruni's successor, but left for Arsenal. You've got to remember that it took Kieran Tierney 2.5 days to decide whether to go to Arsenal. He didn't really want to leave at the time. It was a case that Celtic wanted to get the money for him. And then it took Kieran, it was off, it was on, it was off, it was on. He didn't want to go, and then it was like, boom, he's away down the road as quick as that. Taylor's doing fine. The Grumpy Greek enjoying it as well. Ferry comes across as he's a Mr. Know It, but he's pretty dumb. AJ is future captain. It's funny because obviously as an ex-player, I mean, Cy Ferry knows he's got the contacts, and let's face it, the Lowell enterprise that is Open Goal is well funded, and don't know if there is any financial obligation. It is what it is. Who cares? Mulligan would be good for captain if he signed a 5-year contract like Bruni from Hibs. Ooh, I don't think that anybody's coming in their first year. There's nobody coming in. That would have to be after Callum leaves Celtic, and you've got another couple of years Callum. KT would stay fit enough to be captain. Hasn't Kieran Tierney been fit all of this season? 90% of it. Next manager is Kane. CCV. Scott Brown, 5'9". Oh, you're 4'3", wee man. Who at Celtic are looking at all these players when we don't have a manager and that can say I could lead more players? I think that it is a bit bizarre what's going on at Celtic right now, because we keep getting linked with all these players, and we keep it's pure speculation, isn't it? And if we do start signing players before we sign a manager, it's there's Champions League on tonight. That's why it's quiet. Forgot about that competition. Is it Champions League? Excuse me. Let me just. Yeah, Champions League's on. Oh, Athletic. Oh, come on. I should be watching that. Atletico Madrid, Barcelona. Let's put that on. I'm putting the telly on, by the way. Just let you know. In case the internet gets skewed. Give me a second. I'm going to put the Atletico Madrid Barcelona game on as we're sitting talking. Liverpool PSG. Barcelona are beating Atletico Madrid 2-0 in the Champions League. That's why it's quiet. Nobody's want to sit and fucking listen to me talk shite, talking about Celtic captains. Baz, you take the armband. Jesus, mate, I just got my back sorted out today. Do you know? See, I'm sitting straight rather than sitting like that. I'm sitting completely like upright for the first time in weeks. So yeah, never mind taking the armband. You're teasing it, wee man. That's a Bruni saying, eh? He was Big Sutton's boot cleaner. That's the closest that Cy Fernie got. KD was pushed out for cash. Whoa, seriously? Luke McCowan as captain if he was better. If we get Julian Arrojo, he would be a good choice for captain. This is getting silly now. Wayne Biggins should have been captain and all. Why is the telly not coming on? Come on, OBS, start up. There we go. That's no, I didn't have the Just waiting on the didgeridoo working. I'm on dial up. We've turned it into a watch along. Jesus. What channel was the oh, channel was the Champions League on? Probably get on Spanish TV quicker. TV. TNT Sports 1. TNT Sports 1. Where's TNT? Nope, get off of that. Oh, Christ. Press the wrong buttons. Sean Maloney will be the next manager if he's looking for a next player. I don't think it's Sean Maloney that's looking for the players, though. Somebody's just scored. I can hear the next door neighbour. I can hear the Spanish next door neighbour going mental. Somebody's just scored. Who's just scored? Atletico Barcelona. Ah, yeah, it's Madrid. He's a right man. He supports both Madrid teams, I think. I'm next door, like. That's why I didn't ask them. The missus will have to pedal faster. Oh! That was a good goal, too. That's proper football, isn't it? That is proper football. That was a good stadium, that one, as well. The Atletico Madrid Stadium. A walk and a half to get to it, though. Costa del Sol, near Malaga. There's the manager telling them what to calm the heck down. It's well on side. Well on side. Just as well as I've got this, innit? Do you know what is weird about the Atletico Madrid fans, though? Is that, do you know, they don't do a lot of burger vans and everything inside the stadium. Here come Barca going forward. Atletico Madrid were like flies when the Barcelona player there. Comes across in, away, keeper saves it. Jurgen Klopp to be the new Real Madrid manager. Really? That's an interesting one. 3-2 Atletico Madrid on aggregate. Especially walking for here. Now, all the fans had to walk up, all the Celtic fans had to walk for a certain point in the city, and they had to meet at a certain bar, and they walk up to it, and the coppers and everything. Mama said it was the first time that she'd ever done a big away game like that, and she's like, never again. Never again. You go to the away games yourself. Baz, what do you think of the Willie Hockey scheme? Trinity Tim saying just got to get people to renew. Do you agree? No, I don't actually. It's just to get people to renew. No, I don't. No. See, this is the point. You're always going to get Celtic fans that are against it. Do you know, you're always going to get Celtic fans that are against. I mean, I did the video this morning, and it looked at the half-year finances of the club, and the not another penny campaign's working. If you want a vehicle, I mean, podcasts like the Trinity Tims is who do they suggest? Who are they putting forward as an alternative? I've said this since the beginning of the season, when you know the not another penny campaign and the Celtic fans collective was who's the alternative? Until you put forward an alternative, what the fuck are we doing? And then when you finally have someone that is putting forward a solid alternative that has an achievable target within a 6-month time scale, fans are like, nah, it's just to help the board out. Fuck that shit, I'm not doing it. It's bonkers. It is bonkers. It's all about opinions. Do you know, they can have their own opinions. But I do not think, come on, he's going to pump in 10 million of his own cash. I mean, I had all this stuff up on the screen. Something my, do you know? And they would have, the thing is they would have got the same information that was sent out to me by Paul John Dykes from them. Do you know? So you're always going to get Celtic fans disagreeing. It's the way that the club's been since I was a lad, since before I was a lad. You know, they're never going to agree on anything. But I think personally, it's the only vehicle that has a specific target, that has a time constraint that's achievable. The rest of them are all, it's dream stuff. Targets that are never going to be met in the next 3 months. The Celtic Fans Collective's been on the go since last year now. And what objectives have they? They've never won any of their objectives. This is no disrespect to the Celtic Fans Collective. Do you know, they will say that their win is getting rid of Lawwell. They will say that their win was getting rid of Wilfred Nancy. It wasn't. Wilfred Nancy's own results got rid of Wilfred Nancy. Paul Tisdale was sacked because he picked Wilfred Nancy. Nothing to do with the Celtic Fans Collective. You know, you could say that the only win that they've got is Lawwell resigning. I think Lawwell was, he'd had enough anyway. He was, you know, the personal abuse and stuff is like, why the fuck do I need to take this at my age? Anyone. It is all about opinions, but I think that until people like other podcasts come out with an alternative, a business type alternative, there's no just shouting, sack the board. Bring in who? Tell me who you're going to bring in. Well, we don't know. We just want change. And it's fucking, that's not how you run a business. I don't know. It's bonkers. It's absolutely bonkers. But it's all about opinions. Anyway, we move on. They'll not be able to buy 5 million shares off the open market. He must have a deal already in place for someone. Like I said this morning, there are big investors, funds that use Celtic as a vehicle to cash in on, that are sitting on millions and millions of pounds worth of shares. Put it this way: if Dermot Desmond's shares are worth 100 million, and and you've got a finance company that's sitting on 40 million pounds worth of shares, if somebody's going to come in and say, do you know what, I've got 2 million cash here, I want to take 2 million pounds worth of shares off you at X amount of price, it'll give you a bit of profit, it'll give you massive profit for what you bought them off. Do you fancy cashing in on that so that you can go and invest that money somewhere else? There's every chance they're going to say yeah. You know, more big hitters on the board with more cash than Desmond. How do we sign up? That will come out on Friday, mate. I will have the information once it is released on Friday for that. What are you talking about? 2 million is nothing in real terms. Think about it. No, it's not. It's pennies. It's pennies. And how do you know that you won't be able to buy 10 million worth of shares on the open market? Do you know, if you put in an order for 10 million shares, 10 million pounds worth, and they're not going to buy them in one big lump sum of 10 million. Do you know, it'll be as soon as 10,000 people sign up, that's the first 2 million pounds worth of shares bought. You know, and they'll show that. But anyway, Celtic was funded to help the poor and the homeless. Then why don't the Celtic board have some kind of fund to migrate season ticket prices so they're a lot cheaper to buy? It's a business, mate. Um, I don't see how you can a fund to mitigate the season ticket prices. They will say, the Celtic board will say that they've kept prices at a reasonable level for the last 3 or 4 years. It's like everything goes up, doesn't it? Barcelona on the attack here. Just Atletico are setting up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at the back. Interesting. Frimpong's having a nightmare. Johnny Kenny just scored for Bolton. As someone who worked with a stock, I can tell you that there's plenty of shares in the open market available for anyone to purchase. This is the highest the share price has been for a long while. Well, there you go, Scott. There we go. Cy Ferry replaced Nicholson. Anyway, Barcelona are struggling here to get inside. They're getting to. Oh, here comes a chance. Oh, is that a penalty? That's a penalty. Oh, he's telling them to get up. Oh, Barcelona players are good. Refs like that. Get up, get up. Barcelona diving. Catalans coming forward again. Oh, that was a. Oh, the keeper saves it. Another chance for Barcelona. I tell you, Atletico Madrid are under the cosh. There's young Yamal. They're young enough and good enough. Get them in. Get them in. Have you seen the message regarding the Lisdale train doing the rounds connected to DD's disposal? Yes, that's an old one. That they also sold about £5 million worth of shares a couple of months back. Scott says, I will certainly sign up to the Hockey's initiative and I will back the collective since day one. Back the collective since day one. Johnny Kenny might get another goal. Stephen is down to 10 men. Come on. Is that really going to say that he's a great striker for Celtic? 10 million is 5% share of the club, roughly. That's pretty big. Yeah, it's pretty big. But there's other people with more than 5% in the club that sit silent and say nothing. Barcelona coming forward again. I tell you, Madrid are defending for their lives here. Solid defensively. Just struggling to get the ball up. It was a foul. What, telling him to get up? Oh, it's a foul. Was Figo who jumped ship and couldn't take corners? Pigheads flung onto the pitch. Robertson to Celtic. If Spurs go down, watch this space. If Spurs go down, do you really want Andy Robertson at Celtic? I mean, maybe that should be the question. What are we doing on the poll? Let's shut that down. That's it's only going one way. Wee Mitch is coming with a super chat. Where is that? That was ages ago. I mean, do you? Here's one for you. Do you really want Andy Robertson? Having watched him play for Scotland recently, he's not really getting game time at Liverpool. Would you really want Andy Robertson? Baz, did Willie not say that non-season ticket holders will be able to get a vote? Yes, Scott. Once season ticket holders have had their opportunity to sign up, the next phase will be non-season ticket holders. So I think what he wants to do is he wants to make sure that everyone that is signing up, when we get the screen up, when you sign up, this is the part of the website that you'll go to sign up to register. So as you can see, you put your full name in, you put your telephone number, you put your email address in, and you put your season ticket number. in, and then you click the button. Do you currently own Celtic PLC shares? Now, I'm not too sure if that's going to open up another. If you press yes, if that opens up another section, and and then you need to give any information. But it then does say, I consent to the process of my personal data being described in the privacy policy. I understand I can withdraw my consent at any time. Now, once the website does go live, obviously we'll be able to click on the privacy policy and we'll be able to go through that with a fine tooth comb. Obviously, we, as Celtic fans, I mean, listen, people are saying, he just wants your data, he wants your email address and phone number. Well, do you know, it is a way of confirming that you are a season ticket holder. Do you know, to Celtic. If Celtic come back and say, "Well, yous are full of shit," it has to be done. It has to be done in this manner. When you think about, anyone could turn around to Celtic and say, "I've got 50,000 geezers here that have signed up." You could go into Fiverr or something. You go to fiverr.com and say, go and get 50,000 people to sign out this, and you end up with 50,000 IP addresses coming out of India, Pakistan. Do you know what I mean? Filled out in 10 minutes. You're like, ah, fucking hell, that was quick. But if you do it this way, and then Celtic say, well, how do we know that these people that you say are season ticket holders, how do we know that you're acting on behalf of season ticket holders? Well, then they can turn around and go, well, here is the data. Here is the data of everyone that's signed up. You can cross-reference that data with your current season ticket holding data. And there's the proof. They buy the shares, and then obviously the next stage after that is they will open it up to non-shareholders to be able to sign up. So I think that there's going to be at least a 2 or 3 stage. I mean, I've seen online companies start up this way. They have sort of phase 1 stage and phase 2, phase 3. So if they're going about it the right way, it should make sure that it is only season ticket holders. You would only want season ticket holders. He was asked that question. There is Celtic fans all over the world, not as big supported as other teams, because I could see the data. But when you would want Willie Hawkey and his team to do it in the correct manner so that they can prove that they're not just trying to say, well, we've bought £10 million of shares, it's the Celtic fans that are behind us. Well, prove it. That would be the first thing that the Celtic board would say. Prove it. Could be fucking, you could have went down the high street and went, go and sign this, mate. Fucking hate Celtic. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, Cancy is getting a Bournemouth manager. He's one of the favourites for a job now. Now that he's never been mentioned with the Celtic job since. It's only because he's leaving the job in the summer, the Bournemouth job, that is linked with Celtic. I think that if Celtic haven't made their mind up by now whom the next manager will be, or whom they will offer the manager's job to, we're in a bad way. Seriously, we're in a bad way. And where's that game went to? Let's get rid of Scott Brown and this. Where's that screen away to? 4 minutes extra time. I'm only watching the first half, and then I'm getting off this. I like the film manager. There's no chance of him either. No chance of any Premier League manager. Here's a thought. We've had an elite Premier League manager. Is that the way to go, considering the spending power of these people in these jobs in the English Premiership? Now, if they can't be successful with budgets way more than Celtic's, if they can't be what we would deem successful with a higher budget, what's to say that these people would be successful at Celtic with a lower budget. I think that we're way off the mark. If I can't see anyone coming in and doing another Brendan Rodgers from the Premiership, to be honest. Well, Barcelona scored this free kick. Goalkeeper's asking for 5 in the wall. Well, he's asking for 4 in the wall. Changed his mind. And they've got somebody lying down on the grass. None of the candidates for the job interest me at all, to be honest, says Aidan. That's a long way out for Barcelona, isn't it? That's Lee Griffiths territory. Lee Griffiths against England territory. Joe Hart, twice in the game. Although this is dead centre. Oh, Jesus, he's playing rugby, mate. Playing rugby, you would have scored that. David Moyes is manager. Nope, his ship's sailed, mate. His ship is very much sailed. Um, he was in and about it when Brendan Rodgers got the job the first time, and I think that there's no chance of getting him. I think more than pennies need to be saved. I still think that that's at half time in that game. Athletic Madrid versus Barcelona. Done and dusted. I think that it will be. Spain is okay, but Cyprus is better. Cyprus economy is cack, mate, and you've it's far too close to a war zone in Cyprus, and Cyprus is kind of cut in half due to racial and ethnic cleansing tensions. Do you know what I mean? There's a big border going right down the middle of Cyprus with different air bases and stuff. It's too close to war zones for me, mate. Spain's a safe haven, says Barry. um, who do you think will be the next manager? Do you think it's McGlynn? No, McGlynn's not in with a shout. Not a chance. Likely be Steve Clark, says Michelle. I don't think it'll be Steve Clark. I think, well, Gary says it. Kieran Keane's done and deal with Dermot. I think that, I think it's Robbie Keane. It's the way that Celtic do things. I think that Celtic, look at what Celtic want. They want somebody to come in and look at it as a 4 or 5 year project, 3 or 4 year minimum project for a complete rebuild. It has to be someone that Dermot Desmond trusts. So straight away you have to look at that Irish connection. And then that points to Robbie Keane. A lot of people are shouting at Martinez, but what is now putting me off the idea of Martinez is what Sean Maloney's been saying in the background. Sean Maloney said, no, I told Nicholson I would come in and do this job for 2 years, and that was it. Now, that says to me that he's going back to the pathway manager job in the summer, regardless of who comes in. And it says that not McInnes, as if Martinez is way off the mark. And there's no chance of Martinez coming in. Martinez would be too late in the summer. So I think that rules out Martinez. But we're all putting one and one together when it comes to the Martinez thing. But we're only saying Martinez because Sean Maloney came back to the club. And we couldn't understand why Sean Maloney would take up the pathway manager's job. You know, we all got thinking, well, maybe it's because Martinez is going to come in and then he's going to be the assistant manager all time long. But then when Sean Maloney come out and said, nope, I told Michael Nicholson, I made a pledge to him that I would stay in that role for 2 years and then move on. Well, that's interesting because that's a game changer. So that means it's not Martinez and Maloney, which then narrows it down again to either Craig Bellamy. I don't think it's going to be Craig Bellamy because I don't think that he would stay at Celtic for more than 2 years maximum. So then you're looking at the Robbie Keane scenario and the Irish connection, and it means nothing changes at Celtic, really. So I'd take Michael Beale. Yeah, the Green Line. The Dirty Turks invaded 1974 when Davy Hay was on the beach in Famagusta. He wanted to take the Turks on. Do they still have the international military zone there? I remember when I went there, and you could look over to Famagusta, and you could. Is it still an empty city with all these cars? It was meant to have all these cars showrooms still in the same nick that they were in 1974. I think it was all just myth, just to get tourists to come over to the British side. You've got to remember, Britain owns part of Cyprus. Anyway, we do digress. I wouldn't mind Gary O'Neill. I'd rather have Philip Clement than Robbie Keane. Jesus God. Bellamy has no mental capacity for our job. He's whining about fatigue after 15, 16 games in charge of the World Cup. Robbie Keane didn't want to stay very long when he was a player, though, Baz. Don't think that matters when it comes to management. Do you know what I mean? When you look at it, there must have been the connection to be able to get Robbie Keane to come to Celtic. It keeps coming back to the one common denominator, the man that we all hate at Celtic, and that's Dermot Desmond. And that one common denominator is still at Celtic, and that one common denominator will be the man that makes the ultimate decision this year. Cyprus is my favourite place, full of Tim pubs. You've not been a couple of places in Spain then. Cyprus is now full of rats on the run. Yeah. Strait of Hormuz. Game changer soon. Petrol dollar. Bye bye. He was probably on 75 grand a week at that point. Yeah, he was probably on good money. So, anyway. It's a bit more relaxed now, Baz. I was in the north. Sometimes they stop the priests getting over for mass. That's interesting. Cyprus is a military base. I look at Cyprus on flight tracker a lot because you see a lot of British planes that are not at war. A lot of British fuel tankers take off from Cyprus and then fly over towards Israel right now, and refuel our planes that are not at war, according to the British government. Variosa, empty town since 1974. Interesting. That's the kind of place that I'd like to go to. I like to sneak into. Crazy. The amount of times I was there, fake bus bombs when I lived in Turkey. Crazy. It's one of the craziest things that Turks and Cypriots hate each other. Yeah, I wouldn't. I went to Cyprus once, but I wouldn't really go back. It was a crazy place in the 1990s for mad nights, but it was kind of taken over for Ibiza as the place to go to at one point. Gary O'Neill's my number one choice. Total empty city. Is that on? Is that one of the goals? Yeah, it was onside. Jesus. That Barcelona could just rip you open, eh? Different levels. Different levels. Nice calm night tonight on YouTube. I like nights like this. That has been 847 views altogether. 852. Sometimes better like that. Not been to Turkey a few times. I'm not going back now. I wouldn't go to Turkey. I know that. I think the last chance that I had the chance to go to Turkey was when we played a certain Turkish team. Ayia Napa. Back in the day when it took over from Ibiza. That is now Ibiza cost a fucking fortune to go to. It's mental. It's turned into the holiday shop. Um, it's so weird. It's like you went back in a time machine, mate. I've got this weird memory for dates and places and stuff. It's my missus thinks I'm totally weird, like Rain Man stuff. Um, but yeah, I can call out places and the exact dates that I was at that place and stuff. It's weird. What about to Tenerife on Sunday for the football bars? Long time to love to Santa Ponza. Santa Ponza's kind of went downhill a bit, getting too expensive. I think there is a place in Costa Blanca that is trying to take over from Santa Ponza, Cabo Roig, but it's not got enough hotels. There's only the one hotel in the area, and although there is people trying to do Celtic events in that area, I don't think it's going to kick off the way that they would like it to. Plus, I know Scottish guys that owned a pub in that area as well, and they lasted a year and a half because it's no busy all year round, and they can't close for the winter, unlike what they do in Santa Ponza. You've got to remember, a lot of the Santa Ponza pubs closed down for the winter season. Alan Quinn is singing the full summer in Santa Ponza. There you go. Klopp is going to be the next English manager, is he? First time going. Luke Kelly's Iron Appa's class. Oh, that's mad, isn't it? Um, is football back on yet? What are you thinking about World Cup watch alongs whilst we're on? Quick question, since it's a nice little cosy number of people that's on tonight. It's more a regular vibe. Um, I lived in Magaluf for 5 years. Never went to Santa Ponza. But back in those days, mate, Magaluf was Santa Ponza wasn't really a thing. Shagaluf was where it was all going at, wasn't it? But even that's way changed. Uh, they've turned raving into shopping. It was better when folks just set up sim systems in the fields and factories. God, Hoopsaholic, you're going right back to the 1990s. Eddie Howe and certain Brendan Rodgers. I mean, man's list. Crack at it. Jim Lister says if it was up to me, Baz, I would get in Jose Mourinho as manager. Mourinho as manager. Hmm. Is he not past it though? Do you know? Is he not like Brendan Rodgers? Do you know, sort of just seeing out the best of his career? Love a World Cup watch along, Baz. Brazil versus Scotland, the third game. That's on at what time is that on at the morning? Scotland Brazil starts at midnight. There is absolutely no danger the missus will allow me to start shouting at football at midnight. Not a chance. Maybe if we had a bigger house where I was at the other end, but nah, not in this place. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing watch alongs for the World Cup, but not necessarily just the Scotland games. Turkey every year for me. You getting your teeth done, mate. Joke. Was it your hair? Gotta get it done now and again. I was 21 It was over 26 years ago I was there. Madness. God, God. Bank holiday Monday here for the first game. Bank holiday Monday for the first game, 25th of June. Jose would find it hard to find players to do transfers. Jose would find it hard to do the transfers with the amount we'd pay for players. Yeah, this is true. I have a soccer-free summer, but but of the League of Ireland. Jose would be great, but can't see him coming to Celtic. It would be great doing watch along in the Merchant City for the games. Pub open till 5. That'd be good. That'd be good. There's a place that knows his spots. Frigliana. It's well set up for failure bank holidays. Wife and Wayne's planning a party for the entire village for Brazil game. Youngest flying home. Barry says Benji Negrin's the false 9, McGregor, Hatate and Engels at the end of the season. Jeez. Don't care about the World Cup, but I'll tune in for the watch alongs. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing watch alongs for the games that start between 6 and 8 at night. Just for something to do over the summer, to be fair. Yeah, I'm thinking about it because I'm hoping to try and see a couple of players that hopefully Celtic might be interested in. Try and spot them before it becomes public knowledge. Must be warm up in Madrid tonight because there's nobody got their jackets on. The weather has definitely turned. For that game in Madrid. First Scotland game is Sunday the 14th at 2 a.m. Out in the Saturday night, home Sunday morning, early doors. Jesus. At Barney. I've just catching up with some of the comments. What about a drink along? No, that's the wrong channel, mate. I sit and have a drink anyway. It'll never be called a drink along because that's another channel that does the drink alongs. It's a watch along only. Watch a drink along at that time of night. You'd end up getting the channel barred. Trump and FIFA will have hiked the ticket prices up. It's expensive. The ticket prices are extortionate. My mum looked at tickets when they first came out. And it was about £9,000 for the package. And I'm like, I'm not fucking paying £9,000 to go and see Scotland and America. Screw that shit. Let me see, Marty boy, how are you this evening? No comment in a while. I have two questions to you. Why should Nicholson be a millionaire by creating our downfall? Second question, do you think that Desmond is a mad alcoholic? I have no idea if he's a mad alcoholic. No idea whatsoever. Michael Nicholson Why should he be a millionaire by creating our downfall? It's what people are paid for organisations that that turn over 100 million plus. You know, it's that's the wage packet that they'll be paid at. Even when you get rid of Michael Nicholson, whoever you bring in will only come to someone like Celtic if they're having to deal with an organisation that Celtic aren't even going to turn over 100 million this year. So you want to get they will you would want someone that could get us to back to turning over close to 150 million, which means being in the Champions League, which means funding players, which means getting deals done. There is a lot of pressure that can be on the right person, but I think Michael Nicholson brings it on himself a lot of the pressure from the fans due to his inability to act the way that you would want a really good chairman to act. So, um, unfortunately, there's only one good thing, that I don't think that Nicholson will get a lot of his bonus money this year, because Celtic will have lost money. If anything, I've said before, if when it comes to the end of the summer, at the end of the season, sorry, surely when you look at the financials for the season, and it's weird because the finances of a club run from April to April, and the football season kind of misses it out. So you have to look at the finances of the club and what it's achieved over this season and what's not achieved in terms of his KPIs. And surely there has to be some kind of call for Nicholson to be given the punt purely on not achieving these objectives as chairman. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. And is Dermot Desmond, I take it the Doug's needing it. 10 o'clock, yep. Is Dermot Desmond an alcoholic? I have no idea. Only an alcoholic would employ Nicholson. I don't think it was him that employed Nicholson, was it? Because Nicholson, there's pictures of Nicholson. Nicholson's been around Celtic for a long time. He was a protege of someone else at Celtic. What team would we start in the semi-final with? We'll talk about that when it's closer to the weekend, because hopefully we'll get some good news from Celtic tomorrow that Alistair Johnson and young Callum Osmond have came through the bounce game at Lennoxtown with flying colours. In fact, you'll not hear until Friday, because they're going to have the rest day and then see how they react on the Thursday. So they'll have the bounce game on the Wednesday. They'll come into training on the Thursday. They'll do some light training on the Thursday just to see how they react to playing a game. And then it'll be an interesting one to see whether they're included in the squad. I don't think that Martin O'Neill will come out and tell us if they're included in the squad or not. He might come out and say that it's too early for them. And then you get to the game at the weekend and they're in the squad because he's a sly old fox. Which takes me to the next point. Would you take Martin O'Neill as a permanent manager in the summer? They're doing beanbags at Hampden. Locals will love that. What, in the middle of the night? Then surely there's not going to be like folk inside Hampden. Mind you, I've been to concerts in Hampden and they sell beer. Not be the first time I've turned up to night shift, pissed, just earbuds in and sing away. Back in the day. The Daz does the drink. He's a junkim addict. Only be a really good game for me to watch it. Yeah, it's yeah. Love Alistair Johnson and Osman back even for the last 30 minutes. Tell me I should have been watching the Liverpool game instead. The Atletico Madrid Barcelona games kind of just went the same way as the first half. Even though Barcelona are winning 2-1, Atletico are just trying to hit on the break. Here they go again, trying to hit on the break, but I think he's going to be outnumbered here. He's going to get the shot away. Turns back in. Shot. Oh, fucking shot. Holy shit. That'd have been some goal if that had went in for Atletico Madrid, man. That's the ultimate counter-attacking football for Athletic Madrid there. You know, you seen he was outnumbered. Turns, flicks the ball back, one touch, two touch, control, just past the post. Just past the post. Nice one. Before January window, I'd have said yes, but after January signs, I'm not saying anymore. Missing that one. No, I think Martin should be left alone to enjoy his retirement now with his wife. Yes, if he can cope. Jim Lister says that his team for the weekend would be Scales left back, Trusty Murray centre back, really? Sriracha right back. A midfield of McGregor, Hatate, and Yang. Forwards would be Forrest, Benji and Big Tam. No Dyson Maida. That's an interesting one, mate. Interesting. No, I think Martin should be left alone. Love him, but no. No, we need a fresh new start. New manager in the squad. Before January, I said yes, but after January signs, I said not anymore. That's what Michelle was going on about. I'm in Gran Canaria for the Sevco game, and I'm hoping for a win, so my holiday isn't effed. He's probably been getting the pictures of the season for football, horrible and all that stuff. Baz, yeah, I think Martin will go 4-4-2 in the split. Do you think so? Barcelona, chance, keeper saves it. Ooh, spills the ball. Barcelona get the ball back. Just outside the box. Here they go again. Out to the left-hand side. Oh, that was a pinpoint ball, that. Oh. What a goal. What a goal from Barcelona. Jesus. What a goal from Barcelona. 3-3 on aggregate. I tell you, they just would not stop Barcelona there. Unbelievable. That's how you play a team that's sitting back. That was a goal and a half. Gran Canaria, I lost one flip-flop and the phone. Roy Hodgkins guy, whatever is his face, not long got the Charlton job. He's 110. No, he's not. He's 78. And Martin O'Neill was went for. Yeah, if you got the proper funding to bring in players, Baz. Best 11 part, hopefully, mate. 3-3 on aggregate. Offside? That was never offside. Was it offside? That's not. How's it offside? Oh, it is offside, isn't it? Unbelievable. Is it offside? That was a cracking goal. They're taking ages, aren't they? They got Scottish VAR. Referees like, what? Don't understand your Scottish accent, you fuckers. Ruled out. Aye, that's it. It's offside. It's offside, yeah. Wow. big call that one. Oh, he didn't even wander offside, did he? He just kind of. Oh, I thought that was ever so slight, wasn't it? It's been one way traffic for Barcelona though. I've got Barca to go through. Just can't watch football anymore. Celtic scare my heartbeat this season. I'm only a few years older than you, Baz. I think it's good to watch another team where you're no jumping around. I think that's why I want to watch some of the do World Cup watch alongs this year, so that I'm not emotionally tied to the team and just to sit and watch football and not get blood pressure going through the roof. It was never half brother beating. Must have been a. Is this still a Celtic thing? Yes, it's still a Celtic thing, but we're watching the Barcelona game as well, and we have been talking about various Celtic things this evening. Um, like Martin O'Neill staying at the club. A lot of we were discussing whether or not Martin O'Neill should stay at the club in the comments section whilst we're watching the Barcelona game. I need Valium to watch Celtic right now. Nerve wracking. Um, there's an interesting article. Is there anyone in? Obviously, we talk about the Celtic player of the season. Over the next couple of weeks, they'll be asked for the players' player of the season, the writers' player of the season. Is there anyone at Celtic that will be in and around for players' player of the year, for writers' player of the year, managers' player of the year? Who will get manager of the year? Surely, manager of the year has to go to Derek McInnes, whether he wins the league or not. Hmm. I would tune in for a watch along anyway, Baz. It's all good enough, thank you. Yeah, I think that there is going to be some. There will be World Cup, definitely World Cup watch alongs, just so we could take our mind off of everything Celtic, because it's going to be a summer, and it's going to be a summer and a half. As soon as the whether we get to the cup final or not, as soon as the season is finished, Celtic fan media is going to be all about speculation. It's going to be all about linked to players. We're going to be linked to every single player, and you'll get people saying, "Oh, it's just speculation. It's just speculation." You've with this kind of platform, you've got to talk about the chat that's out there, because if you don't talk about the chat that's out there, you get left behind. Um, it's a social thing. We're all besties. Um, I would tune in for a watch along. We've done that one. It's brilliant to watch a game without any emotional attachment. Yeah, it is. That's why I like watching Spanish football. Plus, it's way better than what you get in Scotland. And you watch, I like watching the Spanish stuff because you see the formations. I mean, we go on about the low block and stuff, and there's Atletico Madrid playing with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at the back against Barcelona. And we think it's a very Scottish thing. And we blame it on Scottish football sometimes. You know, and there you see Atletico Madrid in the Champions League, later stages of the Champions League, going to 6 at the back against Barcelona. So it's not just a Scottish thing. Um, Somebody tell me why Donovan's up for a vote. Colby Donovan would surely be up for the vote of Young Player of the Year, having come up from the academy. That's a good shout, actually, because he's I'm going to tell you why Colby Donovan should be up there for Young Player of the Year in Scotland, because he's stepped up from the academy at Celtic. He's went on to grab a first team place, maybe not consistently, but he's done really well. He's improved in a player as a player, and he's played at the highest level as a young player. So maybe Colby Donovan, he'll definitely get Celtic's Young Player of the Year. I don't know about the Scottish one, but anyway, yeah, it is brilliant watching football without an emotional attachment. Player of the season lineup is a joke. Um, Braga will definitely get player of the year. Yeah, more than likely. McGlynn for me, but never a Celtic manager. Interesting. Um, Barcelona trying to get a. Because they got to the corner. No, it's not like it. Young player of the year will be Donovan. Yeah, I think so. I think they will. I think player of this year should be a cancelled due to the lack of interest. Going to be a mad pod when we do the double. But it will be, mate. Celtic to going to do the double, it'll be bonkers. Greece won Euros defending and hitting on the break. Awful to watch. Well, as it stands, Atletico Madrid are still going to go through. Starting to get all sorts of links with Celtic players now. Player that is away from Celtic. Oh, there's no point in even talking about. See, our loan players that are out with an option to buy. There's no use even talking about it. I think Colby Donna's going to stand out this season. What he does very low bar, but the young lad has done well. I think so. He will definitely be the player at Celtic that gets Young Player of the Year. I'm not too sure about Scotland. I bet Mikey Moore gets Young Player of the Year. Barcelona near will here. 64 minutes. Barcelona going forward again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at the back again for Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid try to hit on the break. Do you think Celtic will go Braga, Baz? Nah, mate, I don't think so. What's the Cologne's defender name, Baz? The Cologne defender? That's linked to Celtic? No idea. It's too early to be talking about speculation. I don't. I can't understand why Celtic are getting linked with so many players when we don't have a manager. We don't have uh we don't have a head of recruitment. Who's making these decisions? And surely it can't be Sean Maloney if Sean Maloney's only going to be in the job for another year. He can't be making decisions on long-term contracts and player recruitment for players that are going to be here for 3, 4, 5 years. Celtic have got a habit of giving out 5-year contracts, 4 and 5 year contracts. Surely Sean Maloney shouldn't be making that kind of decision before a manager's brought in. Bonkers. Donovan is who you voted for. Salah to miss the penalty here. Salah has Liverpool got a penalty? I take it. Let me just do. It's went awfully quiet in the house. Yep. Don't even need to answer that. My missus was in Greece at the time. We have an alcoholic running the club. Who knows what next season will bring in? Okay, okay. Right, I'm going to call it quits for tonight. Apologise for not watching the game through to the end. It's 67 minutes into the game. It's Atletico 1, Barcelona 2. And I'm going to see you all in the morning. Liverpool need 3 goals. It's never going to happen. Anyway, right, I'll see you all in the morning. Have a fantastic evening, Celtic fans, wherever you are all around the world.